Hello, people. I hope you guys are having a good day and stuff. Had another dream. I like when I can dream and get messages and stuff. So, this dream I had was pretty cool. Okay, I think it was. It had a happy ending, but it was kind of interesting. So, it's most people. It's most people know that before you get like into like professional sports and even into like the Olympics and stuff, you have to start from, you know, things at a young age and work yourself up from doing things in town and then get bigger and all that stuff, right? So this dream was not quite, I don't think it was at an Olympic level, but it was kind of in those professional stuff where you're still traveling to other countries, doing things to be noticeable on that stuff, and you still got medals and stuff, and because I saw medals being worn. So there's a lady. It was she in my dream. She was blonde. So I don't know if she was a natural blonde or she dyed her hair blonde. But I remember distinctly a very petite blonde woman, and she had a really good close bond and developed a very good friendship with a another male around her age. So it could even be up to about 4 years older. So, and she's young, but not too young. She's probably about 18, 19 in my dream. But she's known this gentleman for many years. I wouldn't say probably elementary age, but definitely between maybe 10 and 13 years old, I would say. It's kind of what I'm getting in my dream, okay? So probably late elementary, because some elementary schools go to like 7th grade. Some of them go only to 5th grade. So depending on where you're at, so good middle school age, okay? And so, so they built a good friendship over the years. So they've known each other for quite a time. They're wealthy. They do have, I know it kind of sounds sucks, yeah. But both of them are coming from a very wealthy kind of, so upper middle class, upper class, okay? Is kind of what I was getting in the field of, okay? And so both families have come from a really well upbringing, financially well off, that kind of stuff. So I've seen in my dream that they were getting ready to they were excited, and, they got their medals. They were so happy. They're going to fly on one plane to get back to the States. So they're out of the country when they do this. So they're flying back into the States. When they do land in the States, there's an issue with her flight. Like, I don't know if she misses her main flight or there was an issue with her ticket where she thought she was supposed to board at one place, and so there was some kind of mix-up, or she misses the flight, and they're like, well, we can get you on there. So I don't know if it had to do with the other plane coming in. I'm not sure how to proceed that part in this dream, but there's something that goes on with the plane situation. So she's like, oh, I'm going to have to board, and she ends up having to need to go potty, but she decides to hold it because she really wants to get on that plane. She's like, listen, I can hold it. I'll wait until I get on the plane. I can pee, on the plane. Even if I have to pee in the lavatory before we take off, I have to go, I'll hold it. So she, it goes that direction. And as she goes through things to try to get on there, I mean, obviously, she's not, kind of going, okay, things are not going well. There's that, everything else. So she goes through this one set, and she's getting ready to check in to go into the next, to get on her plane to fly back home to her parents. At least that's what her mind is set at, okay? And for some reason, she gets told by somebody at a desk or a check-in spot or something, listen, so and so, blah, which is the guy's name, okay? The young man she's got the crush on and everything else. She misses the flight, so the guy who she has this crush realized she's not going to make that flight. So he gave the option instead of, trying to connect and deal with everything to try to get back to where her parents live, to fly to Alaska. I'm serious. I'm gonna fly to Alaska in my dream. Never been in this particular person, even though she comes from whatever, she's never had that opportunity. But because she can fly there, because even though you're going across, that you have to remember they just flew in from another country, so she's got the passport to go into Alaska, okay. And most times you have to, because you have to travel, across, if you cross over any kind of sea, even if you're on American, territory, you still have to, or another state that's across the ocean, you still have to have that passport to go over the sea, okay? Anyways, so she's like, here's this option. She's like, this guy just offered, and I don't have to, he's already, it's been explained that it's already paid for. All she has to do is just get on the plane, and it's literally, instead of having to deal with wait until the next flight to her parents' house. So she's like, okay. So she calls her parents, told her the situation. She's like, listen, I really want to, but I have this opportunity to really, spend some time not, with this guy. And she's pretty excited about it. She's like, and we've always just did business together, and we always chit chat in between things. And even though he's in the guy division, I'm in the female, we always keep on passing and stuff. So my parents is like, hey, go ahead, here's your opportunity, we'll see you when we can. I know it's been a while, but you're young enough, you can make that choice, and we'll support you, right? So she is like, okay. So she gets on the plane and flies to Alaska. He's not there to greet you, but he does have somebody with the little sign that says, yeah, here you go. So you're going to get out there, and you're going to fly out, and you're going to get in there, and it's going to be a travel, to get up there, and you're going to have to, hike. The way I've seen it, you're going to end up hiking up to his place, okay? But don't worry, there's some people that's going to be there, and when you go through the hiking stuff, that's when you're going to meet up to him, and he's going to apologize, but he's going to be there, and he's going to, help you grab the stuff to finish your trip up to his place. And and you're pretty kind of excited because about it, and to be basically seen, right, to basically say hey, look, I'm here, and everything else. And I've got a call, so hold on, they can call back later. Anyways, he'd be seen, and I'm like, okay, cool, you're happy that he's happy, you're coming up there, and stuff, so he's gonna help you, and you're gonna get back up to his house, and his house is gonna be amazing, mountains, woods, mountains on one side, woods on the other, great little place, it's it's almost like off grid, but not, because they have the ability to kind of pump things to the house. Like to get the water and everything. They're not going to be like one of those people that have to go to like the water station, but you do have to go to the water station, if that makes sense. So there is, if you need to, but they do try to collect their own like rainwater and everything else, and just kind of filter things, so they don't have to make those trips. And the house is amazing, and you're gonna find yourself in the bathroom, and if you've seen bidets, and you're gonna like trip over this bidet, because it's like not your typical bidet where you sit there and you have a little function on your side and you just kind of clean yourself off. No, it's gonna have like this crazy hose. You're gonna trip yourself over it. It's gonna be that amazing for you. So you're gonna find yourself just like amazed and awed in this stuff, and he's gonna swipe you off your feet. You're gonna be so happy with this guy, and you're and happy that you made this choice to go with him. And he talks about his family and his parents and all this stuff, and you're just enjoying your time there. And you end up calling your parents and be like, I'm really happy here, and you should try to get on a plane and come visit me out here. And I mean, you do tell them that. And in my dream stuff, like, you'll have like certain things that happens, and I know you can hear the train coming, but when it gets closer, I'm gonna pause this thing if I'm not done. So he goes in and he's like, like wooing you. You're happy, you're excited, and you meet his parents, and they like you and all that stuff. And there's a part of it where you guys do get intimate, and you're gonna end up pregnant, I think, or think you might be pregnant, in that, but it's gonna feel kind of rushed at the first, but not rushed, if that makes sense. Not much romantic, just like, hello, hi, I'm here. And you guys are like both also virgins, at least you are. I don't know about him, but I have a feeling you guys both are. And so it's gonna be interesting for the both of you. But yeah, I do see like a pregnancy coming from that too. So hold on, here comes the train. Okay, I'm going to continue, even though the train's going by, so I'm going to speak up, because it's going to be long, and I'm tired of always waiting for the trains 25, 30 minutes later. Okay, anyways, you're going to be very excited and happy with this situation, and like I said, you are going to pop up pregnant, and they're happy, so you do call the family and all this stuff, but you don't know that you're pregnant at this time when you talk to the family, and you're like, hey, things are going great, and because you already been there, and they're like, listen, I think this is somebody that we've been talking, we're thinking about getting married, we're talking about it. And your dad's gonna be like, oh, you're rushing it, you barely know. And you're like, no, I known this guy since I was a child. I know him for the last 5+ years. He's not a stranger, and I really like him, and this is where it's gonna go in the direction. And so your dad's gonna be a typical dad, like, you're my baby girl, how dare this man just ask you without talking to me, your dad, the way I get it, your father's gonna be kind of old school about it, like, you should have came and talked to me, asked for your hand, that kind of stuff. And you're gonna be like, oh yeah, sorry it didn't work that way. And your dad's gonna get kind of hurt and bummed. So your mom and your sister, I don't know, younger or older, is going to fly out and come see you and everything. And I see them at the wedding, with going through the process, getting ready for the wedding with you. And and stuff, and they're very happy that you're happy and you're gonna have this other part of your life and stuff. Um, but I don't see your dad flying out right away. He's kind of be hurting his feelings, but you're still gonna. Sorry about that. You're still gonna be in part of your communication with him, so he is gonna communicate with you still, but eventually he will come out and stuff. Because he's gonna want to be that dad that walks you down the aisle and all that stuff. So he is gonna eventually, deal with his emotions and his way and be supportive at the end. It's not gonna be very, some dads are like, hey, no, that's my daughter, and da 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 da. But he has to understand you were taking trips on planes and stuff without the family. You're over 18, you're 18 and older, you're an adult, and he can't protect you forever, and you gotta live your life, right? So I do see that situation, and I think you're gonna end up staying or making it permanent. You'll probably go back to the States to get a few things, but I see you being with this gentleman in Alaska, and you're still going to do whatever you guys are doing, but you're building up, trying to get, because I see you trying to get to be known in the Olympics, but you're not quite there yet, if that makes sense. And he's got his own division too that he's working on, and there goes the end of it. Okay, on the end of the train there. So he's gonna be doing that, and he's gonna find you're gonna find yourself very happy situation, like excitement, everything. It's gonna be cool. You're gonna like it, and I even saw it's like, wow. The only thing I have to say is probably like you guys' first time being intimate is gonna be a little weird for you guys, but it's awkward maybe a little, but it's gonna work. And I see a lights on kind of guy, so just so you know, on there, and I think it's gonna work out. I really do. It's gonna be odd, but on it. But I mean, he even paid to get you flown out there, so you're not sitting in an airport for days trying to get on another plane, because that can happen. So I think this guy's gonna be really good to you. So, yeah, and you're gonna have some support. Dad might take a while to get around, but you'll get there. All right. So later, I'll talk to you guys another time. I'm glad I'm having these dreams again, so I can share with you guys. All right. Bye.